everyone. I'm Valentina Flores, CEO of Red Century, and this is the Ctrl-Alt-Secure Podcast, where we talk about all things cybersecurity. And today we are doing something a little bit different. We talk a lot about software on here, but we wanted to bring in an expert in hardware because hardware security is really important, but not really talked about enough. So we have Weston Weil, president of Pre-Rack IT, and they're doing a lot of cool stuff in hardware cybersecurity right now. So Weston, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about your background and your current role.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Val. My role started doing sales for Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure in 365. But for the past 7 years, I've worked helping companies augment their IT data center spend, supplying recertified hardware and third-party extended warranty and maintenance, which is typically a savings of 70% over the OEM. Pre-Rack IT helps customers lower the cost of hardware, support in data centers through third-party maintenance and recertified hardware, and partnering with Red Century, allowing us to offer cybersecurity solutions such as penetration testing and vulnerability scanning.
Yeah, so what's cool is Pre-Rack, they are one of our partners, and they're really putting cybersecurity at the forefront of everything they're doing in hardware, which we really don't see often enough. So really appreciate that, Weston, and love this partnership and excited to talk more about hardware today. So tell me about how the hardware space is changing or evolving right now.
Great question. Well, over the past decade, we've seen our customers moving a portion of their IT infrastructure to a cloud instance of some sort. But over the past couple of years, we've noticed our customers bringing some of or all of those cloud instances back in-house to hardware in their data center, giving them more control over speed of recovery, security, and reaping the benefits of cost savings.
I think that's really important. And like I said, we talk about software security a lot, but what is the importance of hardware security specifically? How do hardware and cybersecurity go together?
Yeah, great question. Hardware plays a crucial role in cybersecurity, primarily because it forms the foundation upon which software and security measures are implemented. As an example, physical attacks, such as like tampering, theft, and physical damage to hardware components. We've noticed our customers, it's been about network traffic. And that's been the most important aspect. I mean, just look at the sheer volume of the network appliances that we've supplied our customers from Cisco to Palo Alto, Juniper. It's really taken a big jump just in the past few years.
So with that jump, are other data center solutions companies, are they doing anything with security right now, or are clients going somewhere else? How's that working in the space?
Historically, most data center solution providers have had their customers go elsewhere for cybersecurity. And that's why here at Pre-Rack, we thought it was important to partner with Red Century to provide a cybersecurity solution that overlays our IT hardware and third-party maintenance.
Yeah, and when we started partnering a while ago, I think it took us a little bit to figure out exactly how those two things work well and to get that product market fit. And I think we got something really good going right now. So I am excited to see where that goes. And I think it's cool that you guys are doing that right in your offering.
Oh, absolutely. I think cybersecurity is the forefront right now. And any added layer of security that we can provide our customer base gives us an added advantage. Which brings me to a question for you, Val. Through your years of experience working in cyber, what are some common vulnerabilities found in hardware that companies should be aware of?
Well, I think you kind of have to take a step back. I don't think the attacks between software and hardware are that different. There are a lot of commonalities, but I think what we definitely see is people aren't focusing on the hardware security as much. But you see the same things, like supply chain is huge in hardware, just like it is in software. So everyone be careful of your vendors out there. We see the attackers kind of getting in and doing the same thing. They're using privilege escalation to try to see what they can get access to. And even what they're doing with the vulnerabilities is similar. You have ransomware and data leaks. So it's kind of the same type of things. A big difference, though, is some of the entry points. You mentioned physical attacks of the hardware components. That's definitely something a little more unique to this area. Firmware exploits. So, we talk a lot about like patch management, and that's really important for hardware, the same as anything else. So updating your firmware, your drivers, your software components that are running on the hardware, because otherwise you're vulnerable to exploits and just known attacks that wouldn't be there in newer versions. And I think also something with hardware specifically that we need to look at is just general like design flaw or insecure configuration. So we talk a lot about like a shift left mentality, which I've mentioned on previous podcasts, but it's basically implementing cybersecurity earlier in the process instead of building an entire tool or function and then looking at if it's secure afterward, taking that as a priority earlier in the process. And I think for hardware specifically, that's something that we don't see often enough. So for anyone out there building new products and new hardware components and implementing this stuff, we have to start implementing security sooner in the process. So yeah, like I said, a lot of the stuff we see is similar. A lot of the solutions are similar. Patch management, security audits, penetration testing, things like that. Just practicing best practices is important. But like I said, the main difference, I think, is we don't see people testing hardware as much as software. So it's a huge attack surface, but not always as many protections there.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think that gives a great foundation of what customers should be looking out for upon, starting or implementing a multi-tiered solution.
Yeah, and I think we all know that vulnerabilities are there. We all know that cybersecurity is important, but you talk to a lot of clients specifically who are like kind of overwhelmed by adding security and they got all this other stuff on their plate and they're starting this process. So, what's your advice for people that are just starting this and are kind of overwhelmed?
I'd like to kind of answer that question, giving you an example of a couple of recent projects that we've helped with. This is helping large pharmaceutical and data analytics companies. First, we have your traditional scoping call to help uncover any information, kind of go over what the outline is of the work and develop that statement of work. Typically, it's an hour call, right? The customer has to do very minimal work on their side. Our team does all the heavy lifting to get the ball rolling. Typically, my customers, I've seen that they do a vulnerability scan, which is very non-invasive to their infrastructure. And this helps highlight what areas we might need to focus on during the actual pen test and go a little bit deeper of a dive.
Yeah, the vulnerability scan can be a really good tool to just see your general level if you're not ready for a full pen test yet, or you're not sure if you want it. The vulnerability scan can definitely be a good first step there.
And I'd also like to add, during penetration testing, if you can have a vulnerability scanning platform that runs simultaneously to show exploits and various vulnerabilities between testing is another added layer that we at Pre-Rack like to position to our customers to just give them that added layer of security.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw it, Weston. We actually just a couple weeks ago launched our new pen testing as a service platform, and it's right there in our vulnerability scanner next to it. So if you've logged in, you've probably seen it. And really the benefit there is that it does give that kind of side by side. You can be working on a pen test and have your vulnerability scans going on at the same time, and they really function really well together. So for anyone interested in seeing our pen testing as a service platform, please reach out. We'd love to show you some of the new features we just launched.
Fantastic. Yes, I'm very familiar with the platform.
So any last thoughts, Weston? I think that was kind of a good overview, looking into hardware and some of the differences there. I think it's definitely something that I know all your clients are looking at specifically, and anyone else dealing in hardware that has these data center solutions should definitely be focusing more on.
I think we kind of hit the nail on the head during our conversation today. The only thing I would add is just vendor management can play a big part in this, right?
Yep. Well, Weston, I think we covered a lot of just hardware, the vulnerabilities there, how that and cybersecurity really play a big part in each other. Any final thoughts for everyone?
I think we've covered most everything. I'm sure there's going to be some questions, and I'm happy to answer anything in further detail. If you want to reach out to me at prerackit.com.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and we'll link Weston's information if anyone does have any other questions. If you have any IT data center hardware maintenance, hardware cybersecurity needs, please reach out to Pre-Rack IT. They're doing some great work in that space, and we always love companies that are putting cybersecurity at the forefront. So Weston, appreciate it. Thanks for coming on today and talking through some of this.
Yeah, Val, thank you for having me. Really appreciate the partnership, and really excited to see what the future of Red Century and Pre-Rack IT holds.
Awesome. Thanks. Have a good day, everyone.